So welcome to our evening of gratitude. As we go through the update, if you have a question, please just raise your hands or say something. If you raise your hands and I don't say anything, just say something. We want this evening to be more of a conversation for you to feel what we feel and hear what we hear and be part of the way we feel it. We want to keep our donors informed on the progress that we're making together because truly, without you, we would not be able to do what we're doing. So it's been an honor working with you and making a difference in the world. So before we go, we're gonna, as everybody already know, Feeding Nation to Education, we have 5 major programs. Our number one being our farming care package, which is comprised of bulls and plows. The second one is really nothing less but training and training and training. Just making sure that anything we give them, they know how to utilize it and make a difference forward. And our microloans number 3 in clean water well and our educational program. So to make it easier, we thought it would be nice to provide you a summarized version of what FNTE is really about.
Voila, with Feeding Nation through education, it is my hope and prayer that you and your family are doing well. As a nonprofit organization, our aim is simple: helping people help themselves. We equip and train the poor families such that they can produce enough to feed themselves and pay it forward. Give me a fish and you would feed me for a day, but teach me how to fish and you would feed me for life. This is exactly what Feeding Nation through education is about. It's a pay it forward strategy to eradicate poverty. I personally grew up extremely poor in Burkina Faso, West Africa. I had to drink dirty water to survive. Went days without food, and worse, I had to help bury children who unfortunately did not make it. I hate poverty. But with the amazing opportunity I have gotten to be educated in the United States and now know my God-given calling in life, I developed Feeding Nation through education as a sustainable way of helping people such that they will be able to help themselves going forward. We do this through 4 simple, cost-effective solutions. Number 1, our care package. Our care package is comprised of 2 bulls and a plow that we provide to the families in the villages and train them how to best utilize it in their own farm. With that, they produce enough food to feed themselves and no longer starve. Their surplus is sold to fund their children's education. Each family who received our care package has 5 years to pay it forward to another family. As the cycle continues, more and more families are taken out of extreme poverty and more children are schooled as a result. Number 2, our clean water well program. We drill clean water wells in the villages where we intervene. The design of our clean water well is such that we build concrete walls around it to protect it from dust and debris. We also include a trough that provides the same clean water to animals as well. Each of our wells is at least 186 feet deep, and we train the villagers how to maintain it. As a result, water-related diseases are reduced, and children can now live long enough to go to school for education. Number 3, our women microloan program. We grant an envelope of $100 to women in the villages to start their own handcrafted businesses. Each recipient is required to pay the same microloan forward to another woman the following year. As the cycle continues, more and more women are now entrepreneurs and breadwinners supporting their families, especially their children's education. Number 4, our education program. We are building a middle school and a high school on a 40 acres property in Burkina Faso. As a village boy, I know that even an elementary school education can be hard to come by for the poor families in the villages in Africa. And a high school education is often out of reach for the poor children, not to mention college. That's why our strategy is to build a middle school and a high school to serve as a bridge for the poor children to have access to higher education and become positive change makers in their respective communities. I am really excited about this mission ground. And the good news is our middle school construction is already completed, open, and now serving practical hands-on education to 7th through 10th graders as I speak. Our next goals are to build a library, the dorms, a water tower, and the high school. Once completed and at full capacity, our school will serve 1,000 students each year. The sustainable component of our programs is such that our care package, clean water wells, microloans, all serve together to empower the families and set them in a position that they can afford the cost of education of their children, making education accessible to all children. Because of our donors' support and our volunteers' effort, the measurable result of our programs goes beyond word. On our care package side, over 3,000 people are now out of extreme poverty and no longer starve as I used to. Through the Clean Water Well program, over 100,000 people now have access to clean water every day. In addition, our macroloan program took over 386 women out of extreme poverty and transformed them into handcrafted business owners, now supporting the children through school. Last but not least, our educational program, our strategy in there made it possible that over 500 children are now schooled and their tuition paid for by their very own families who used to be extremely poor. That is the power of helping people help themselves. I am inviting you to join us in transforming the poor into givers, such that they can help themselves going forward. With your donation, we equip them and train them to succeed, to become self-sufficient, and to pay it forward. For more details on how you can help or give, visit our website at www.feedingnations.org. Thank you for your partnership, and God bless you.
All right.
Hi, Alfred.
Good evening.
Hello, Ellen and Pam.
Yeah, Joe
Hey.
and Liz and
Hi, Linda.
yeah, Linda,
Joel and
Pam,
Liz. Hello.
Great. Brian and Karen, thank you for joining us. I hope you catch pieces of the video. Anytime I watch this, I'm reminded that it was a vision, it was a dream, but now it is a reality. So praise be to God for the miracles He has worked through. I used to sit and share what I'm thinking, what God showed me, what I envisioned, but now we are able to take a look at it together. And even further, on the video, which we recorded and posted a while ago, part of the microloan was 386. Now it's actually 566 women
Oh,
that are now fully equipped, running their own handcrafted businesses, doing very well. So my wife is gonna share to us about our clean water well. Today, as we mentioned earlier, our updates is really on the clean water well and our education program. So she's gonna talk to us about the clean water well.
Yes, thank you. So this year in 2020, we were able to do 2 more wells, one in Gudnaba and one in Santra 2. And we just wanted to stress the fact that this is really beneficial to the women in the communities of these villages. They no longer have to walk miles and miles to find clean water for their families. And they really take a lot of pride in this well that they now have in their villages. And they will even just volunteer and come and clean up the wells and make sure that everything is looking proper and clean so they can get their sanitary water for drinking, cooking, bathing, and all those tasks. And so we're very excited that we were able to do 2 more wells in 2020. And we wanted to show you the impact, the overall impact that we've had on this graph, our clean water well impact. You can see starting in 2011, we drilled our first clean water well, and then all the way to 2020, we now have a total of 10 clean water wells. And our graph here shows us, the red number shows us how many we have drilled each year. So we did 1 in 2011, 0 in 2012 and 13, but then 2 in 14, and so on and so forth, all the way to 2020, where we did 2 more. And so we started out in 2011 with the impact being to 4,000 people. And even though we did not drill a well in 2012 and 2013, the impact of that one well that was drilled in 2011 still was being seen in the villages and surrounding areas where more and more people were starting to draw water from those wells. So it increased to 5,200 and then 6,400. And then all the way to date, we have over 100,000 people that are able to have access to clean water, whereas before they did not have access to clean water. And if they did have access to a well, it was usually one of those hand dug wells. And it was not deep enough to really give clean water. And during the dry season, sometimes they would dry up. So we are very grateful to you, our donors, for making this possible and impacting the lives of 100,000 people, and especially those of the women who are the primary household members who are gathering all of the drinking water and everything for daily use, and even for the children, the impact that it has on them with their health. And we're seeing the children more healthy and able to even go on to school because they are not getting sick as much. They are not dying from diseases. And so we are very grateful for this opportunity to have been able to drill 10 wells and for your continued support and of making this possible. So thank you very, very much. And now we're actually gonna take you to on a road to our school, International School Barkwende. And we have a video to show you of, actually we did not have a road before to our school. It was just bushes, sort of make your own path. And so we have begun constructing a road. The road is actually finished. For now, it is just dirt, but our goal is to be able to pave it in the near future. But it has been very helpful. It is wide enough for 2 cars. So if, eventually when you guys come with us, we can take our car down there. But for now, it's mainly pedestrians and our teachers with the scooters. And we've put that sign by the main road. So now even as people drive on the main road from Ouagadougou down to other villages, they can actually see that our school is just off this road. and we can have more enrollment and just more advertisement that our school is there. So we're really excited. It's been helpful for the teachers to be able to get to school easier, for the students to get to school easier, and that has been a very exciting development.
Wonderful, thank you. I personally, have walked for miles to get water with my mother. So only I can't even begin to put it to word how it feels like to know that 100,000, that many people now have access to clean water right within their own village, right within their own compounds. It's undescribable. So thank you for your trust to Feeding Nation to Education and supporting the vision, making it happen. And as my wife explained through the video with the road, everything we're doing is building from scratch. It wasn't there before. So there is no road to get to a school or to even go build a school. For those of you who've been with us in 2011, when we were still looking for the property to build a school, we just go between bushes and sometimes get into a huge bump and just have to get out and push the vehicle to get out of the mud. So now we're building the road slowly but steady, paving the way. It's basically setting up the infrastructure where it's never existed, for schools like that, for future to be brighter and make it possible for kids like I was to have the opportunity of education. With that, this is our middle school, which is already completed. And tonight we were gonna have Paul. This is our principal at the at International School Barkwende. We were gonna have him online with us so that he can speak to the school for us, just like Uncle Tunde did with the care package on our previous evening of gratitude. But unfortunately, we do not have access to the internet at the school area yet. And he also doesn't have the internet yet at his place. And the meeting tonight at 6:30 PST is 8 hours behind them. So it's about midnight or past midnight their time. So most of the internet cafes are all closed. So we tried all scenarios we possibly can, but it just didn't work out for him. And as far as internet goes, to be able to join us today. And that also speak out loud of the lack of infrastructure in place. It speak out loud of the need and the importance of what we're doing. So I am really looking forward to someday where they can join us through Zoom or a call like that from their place or from the school so that we can see it and feel it and be together and be united. But I'm believing it that with your support, we are gonna get there. He's been doing a great job with the school. As of to date, due to FNTE work and your support, I am pleased to report that we have 544 children that are in school. And this particular picture that we're looking at right now reminds me of who I was when I was in the village. Those are the first seed from the families who benefited from our care package and are able to send their kids to school. So those are what we call elementary school kids. And they would not have gotten the opportunity to go to school if we were not doing what we're doing. Now, fast forward is the middle school. What we're building is a middle school and a high school on a 40 acres land. And as to date, as you've seen on previous pictures, the middle school is completed and we have 126 students out of the 544 are now at our middle school that you have seen in the previous pictures. Those are some of the students that we captured. Usually we used to have 8, 10, 15 students, so it was very easy to put on a picture. Now the pictures are starting to not be able to fit all of them. Praise God for that. So I'm super excited. The middle school is growing. The numbers are increasing year after year, from 7th to 10th grader. So I can't wait when the high school is in place. So we will be talking about hundreds and hundreds to the 1,000 per year, as I mentioned in the video. So that's about our school. They got a flag in the middle of the classrooms. So that's one of the class outside enjoying the cool weather by the flag. But this one is really the impact on education that I want to share really deep in my heart with you. When I look at this graph, and thank God for my wife, Francois, our team here, and our local team in Burkina Faso that pull all the information and put it together. Every year, the local team in Burkina Faso keep us posted on how many students are registered from the families that we have supported based on the result of Feeding Nation Through Education programs. And that's is a combination of our care packages, our clean water well, the microloan, our education program, all together, making it possible for parents to be able to fund their children's education and send them to school excitingly. So when we first started back in 2010, there were 0 students that we could say because of FNTE. And by the time we got to 2011, where we had our care package, just about a year and a half later, we got 5 kids out of those families going to school. And then it goes on and on, as you see on the graph. By the time we hit 2019, we already having 102 students in 1 year. And last year, 2020, we had 152 kids in 1 year that went to school as a result of FNTE work in Burkina Faso. So if we add up the numbers, it just keep going and going. That's those numbers together that makes up the 544 children in school. 126 of those currently at our middle school in Komsiliga, Burkina Faso. So this, it's a lifelong journey. It's a process, but as we can see, it's beginning to kick in big, big, big time because they're equipped with care packages. They have clean water here. The women have microloan going. The economy, it's sort of created an economy within the community, a vehicle that is allowing them to be who they're really supposed to be for their children. Now, what's next? What's our next project that we're working on is a water tower that we're planning on putting at the school. Now, this is solar power tower, and the plan is to have this in place because that way, as the increasing number of students on campus will be able to service water to everyone with no problem. That's the first part. And second part is, as I mentioned earlier, part of the next phase is to build high school and more classrooms and dorms. Those required excessive amount of water, and it would be easier to facilitate the task if we already have something like that in place. So, and the community surrounding our school is beginning to grow. So it's this is gonna be very convenient for the community at large outside of the school as well to be served some water. So this is our next target we're working on and trying to complete this before we start the construction of dorms in the next phase of the school. And we wanted to show you this. This is a picture that shows how it's gonna be like, but ours is not done yet. These are the information we gathered that showing us how it's gonna be set up, how it looks like when it's completed, that we wanna show this picture so you see in the end, this will be at International School Barkwende as well, serving the student population and the community around our school. To that extent, one of my friends and teammates at VSP Global, where I also work as a software engineer, he is also a software engineer. So he loved the program that we put together. He really loved Feeding Nation to Education. He's from India. His name is Samir. And so Samir and I signed up to run the Folsom Blue Marathon in October 17 to be specific, to raise funds that will go toward the implementation of our solar powered water at our school. So FNTE board members are standing on our side also to donate to it. And tonight we wanted to ask each one of you, you've already done it, we really appreciate it, but this is the next step. So we wanted to ask you if you can to contribute toward this solar powered tower, because it's going to help the school, not only the student population, but the next phase of construction and also the community around the school. Now it's estimated to be between 10 to 12,000 people, the villages that are around the school. And then our students on campus right now is 126, but that's going to increase. School is starting on October 4th, this coming October 4th. So we expect an increase to that as well. So the need of water on campus is absolutely great. That will help us in the long run. So again, it goes back to building the infrastructure. We're starting with what is need to go first, then what's need next, until we get the complete vision in place. So you can do us a favor by mailing your check in. And
I do have a question.
yes, go ahead.
How much will that solar powered water tower cost?
Oh, good question. I didn't mention that. So normally it costs 30,000 to put from beginning to end, this including the solar power, the setup, the construction of a little house behind it where the equipment will be stored, and batteries and all those, the tank, the metal, the transportation, because we are in the middle of nowhere. So all these kind of things have to be pre-built in the city and then transported there, everything included. But because we've been already working with some of the well contractors that are doing it also, they're just so pleased with what we're doing, and they too want to contribute to the effort that we're doing. So we are being charged 25,000 for the whole thing. And the good thing is this is not a manual pump where they pump it. This is gonna flow down. So 25,000, and we already have 5,000 raised, so 20 to go. Hope that answered the question. Good question.
I have a question too.
Yes.
So how does the water get in there? Because it doesn't rain very much. So is it connected with the well, or
Yes.
I'm confused? Okay.
Yes. So there is a well that we already have on campus. So the well is already drilled. So what would happen is this setup will replace the manual to get the water underground and to the tank. And then that will, with gravity, redistribute that to go to the classrooms and then to the next construction site, then to the dorms. Once we have the dorms, it will distribute as you go. And when the water dropped to a certain level, it would automatically get started again to pump the water back up.
Awesome.
Yeah. So good question. Thank you. Anybody else has another question? So options, if you can and would like to, you can mail us a check, or those who do it online already. And thank you. We have some people who signed up, 35 people this year in 2021 signed up to do monthly donation for Feeding Nation to Education online. So we really, really appreciate it. If that's what you would like to consider, you can do it online on our website. On the right corner, you will see donate there, or the ways to give. You see all that information there. For the folks who like to do it on their phone directly, without having to go anywhere, you just open your camera and face this. It will take you straight to the page where you can do that. The technology made it so much easier than anytime before. So we would really appreciate your contribution to this project. And my wife and I are going there in December. We're taking our kids as well. So we will be part of the setup for the solar powered tower at our school. We will get a chance to be with the students, and we'll get a chance to provide more update and report while we're there and when we come back as well. So we're really excited about how God led us through this and putting it together all the way to today. Really excited about you supporting us and making it possible to make such a difference in the lives of that many people and more to come. So I can talk forever on this, but I want to stop here. If anybody has a question or a comment, or have any other question or concern about what we've gone through, so that we can have a good discussion together.